When I was 12 years old, maybe, Subbuteo decided to invent the stadium and the terracing. And I was drawn to that straight away. I didn't realise I was a model maker or a fan of model making at the time, but I just enjoyed the thought of trying to fill it up with spectators, because you only got 25 or something like that when you bought the terracing. So I'd spent all my pocket money then on buying spectators and trying to fill it up. And on and off I would buy and paint and build, and eventually the terracing of the stadium that was single and double tiered ended up being double and triple tiered, just because it was such a therapeutic thing to do. You know, nobody was coming round to play, nobody was seeing it, I was just doing it. I shared a few pictures online on the Subbuteo forum, and it wasn't until around about 2007 when somebody said, this is fantastic, why don't you come and play Subbuteo with us? They are from Italy. There was a tournament in Milan, so I went over and I met a whole community out there. I had no idea there were people that were playing the Subbuteo, and then they came up with all sorts of ideas. Somebody said, why don't you have cameras around the stadium? Okay, that's a good idea. And of course, when somebody plants the seed, it just gnaws away at you until you start searching for the sorts of things that could work. So I then spent the next 5 years really working on the stadium. And then it sort of got mostly finished. And I was drawn to one particular project because of the centenary of the First World War, celebrating that incident in no man's land that's reported where the German troops and the Scottish and the English troops played football on Christmas Day. So I wanted to create that pitch, just that pitch. When I did that, eventually I did get some people to come around and celebrate that on the 11th of November 2014. So it wasn't really the models, it was the concept, it was the project that was more important. But as soon as you start deviating away from the norm, you think, what else is there? And then people say, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I don't think I've created one pitch that's my idea. So probably now there must be 15 or 16 of them.
His whole house is just Subbuteo, Subbuteo, Subbuteo. He's just a Subbuteo nut. And he's such a great guy. And to see like all the bits and pieces he's got is great. So if you're into Subbuteo, it's fantastic. Twice a year he opens his house up with his neighbours, and we come down, and it's really enjoyable to play.
It's just so nice to see their initial reaction, just to see the stadiums, let alone playing them.
I prefer this one out of all of them because there's an actual football crowd and everything, and it's fun to play on. You have some wins and losses and a draw. I think I played quite well. And just the fun and meeting new people. I just enjoy it.
There's some good lads that each have got their own adaptability to the way they play. Some are very intricate, some are more thorough with their passing and blocking. But you learn more and more and adapt your style of play to who you're playing sometimes. Steve is very good at knocking the ball, getting around the pitch and smashing it and scoring a goal. That's why we call him Steve on the fly.
It's much more about your experience with people. Yes, there's a winner at the end of the day, but even the losers will end up going away with the trophy. Eventually you might win the tournament with the unfortunate finger. Just to celebrate the philosophy that it's not about the winning or the losing. Not even the way they play your game. The way you play the game isn't that important. It's more like finding people to play from all walks of life, all ages. It just builds up community.